I'm entering what used to be the Jewish Ghetto in Berlin, and now is a tourist area, as most of the occupants of this ghetto were killed. Now, I think it's time, as a Jew myself, to clarify something that I have found that is not really understood by a lot of people of other origins. And that is that being Jewish is not, that Judaism is not a religion in the common sense of the word. That there's a lot of Jews who don't believe in Judaism, like myself. Like the founders of the State of Israel. Many of them didn't believe in the literal interpretation of the Bible. I'm like an agnostic Jew or an atheist Jew, and I'm still a Jew. In fact, if I had been standing here and the Nazis were coming through that door and I had to explain that I didn't believe in Judaism, they would have killed me anyway, because anti-Semitism doesn't have to do with hating the things that Jews believe in. It has to do with simply hating the Jews. Now, this is something that confuses Muslims and confuses Christians, especially Catholics, because not only are Jews do not necessarily believe in Judaism, but also Jews do not agree on what they believe even when they believe. Jews are as if it were Christianity with all the different Protestantisms of different types, Catholicisms, Copts, Orthodox, Greeks, and so on. But it's even more like that because there's no authority in Judaism. So there's no pope that says, okay, this is what we're going to believe. Like the rabbis cannot get married or certain rules. Those rules do not exist in Judaism. There's not even agreement on basic things that all religions seem to agree on, like on what happens to you when you die, which should be something that a religion should be able to solve. But when my father died and I went to ask a rabbi, and that's mostly because I was just so sad, at least I wanted to know what Judaism thought that happened to people when they died. All I got was like a bunch of different theories of what could potentially happen to people when they die, or Jewish people when they die, or that cemetery outside of Jerusalem where people are buried there because they're waiting for the arrival of the Messiah. There's really no agreement among Jews as to what Judaism is, which is again a proof that people who hate Jews don't hate them for their ideas because they're all over the place. Another thing that is not true is that people who hate Jews hate them because they have a lot of money. Because in this ghetto, and not only that, in Argentina, where I grew up as a Jew and I was hated for being a Jew by the military dictatorship, there was a belief that Jews were communists, that most Jews were communists, and Nazism also attacked Jews for being both capitalists and communists. So that is also very confusing as to why do people hate Jews, and it explains once more what I've been trying to explain. That is, people do not hate Jews because for what they believe in religion. People do not hate Jews for what they believe in vis-a-vis the economy. People hate Jews, or Nazis hate Jews, or the Argentine anti-Semites, or all the anti-Semites of the world who hate Jews, or people who wish Jews didn't exist, which are a lot of people in this planet, certainly a lot more than there's us Jews, because we're only 14 million people, and even if only 5% of humanity hates us or has weird ideas about us, that's way more, 200 million, or that's way more than the amount of Jews that we are. I've encountered anti-Semitism in a lot of places, including as weird places like Japan, for example. I heard very anti-Semitic theories said to me in Japan, because what happens to me is that most people don't think I'm Jewish, so I get to hear all the things that people believe about Jews. Now, of course, the vast majority of people I encounter are not anti-Semitic, are perfectly reasonable people, and I go through my life generally well. The last time I encountered anti-Semitism was in my native Argentina in the 70s when my cousin was killed, and other people were killed many times for being Jewish. But it is very interesting to share these thoughts with people who are not Jewish, because as in this ghetto where so many Jewish people died, I just wanted to make clear that they didn't die because of their religion, they didn't die because of their beliefs or anything else, they died simply because they were Jewish